Hello YouTube, it's Earl, and I thought today I'd give you a little review of Pease's newest blend, Spark Plug. So let's dive in a little bit, and let me give you some statistics or some things about this blend that you need to know. First of all, it is an English blend. That means it has a lot of Kia in it. Let me read you a little bit of the description and tell you a little bit more about the components. Spark Plug, deep and dark, powerful yet refined. The smoky, leathery backdrop of Latakia is layered with an almost incense-like spice of rich Orientals, with fine Virginias added for depth and a subtle sweetness. Like the classic roadsters that inspired its creation, Spark Plug has an alluring charm that invites you to rev it up and take it out for long drives in the country. Sliced thick or thin, it will never leave you stranded. So Spark Plug, obviously, with the name plug in it, you know it is a plug tobacco. Now, I have been smoking this quite a bit, and so I'm probably a little bit more than halfway done with my mine, and so I have a plug, but this is all that's left. So you can see it's a nice dense plug. There's not that much. When it was first round, it looked like about the size of maybe a brownie, a serving that you might have there. It's not a real thick. It's not like a Peterson Perfect Plug. See, it's got a little spring to it. Peterson's Perfect Plug, at least the way it was made once upon a time, was a very dense, tight press. This is not quite that. So it's not a crumble cake. It is a plug, which that means it's been whole leaf. So you had the whole leaves put together and then pressed, and you're going to need to slice it. So let me show you a little bit about what I do to prepare my plug on this. Something I think a little tip you could use. All right, everybody. Today, like I said, we are talking about Spark Plug. I thought I'd show you what it looks like a little bit here. So you got your usual inserts here from Cornell and Deal. And you can see, I've been smoking a good bit of mine. Mine is now, it comes in a square, and I'm gonna show you how I prepare it here in just a second, but you can see it's almost all gone for the most part. Okay, so how do I prepare it? Well, hold on just a second. Let me get you focused here. So there's no secret, like part of the problem with plug tobacco is people don't like to have to prepare it. It can be difficult with a knife, getting it to cut right, and so what I do is I take a nice cigar lighter, or a cigar cutter, and I just put one end of it through like so, right? And then just clip off a little bit. And that's the reason why mine is round now. I started off, it was in a nice square form, but I just take a little edge and come off like that. Now there are some differences. You're going to get cutting this like this rather than maybe in a whole flake, in that you're going to have shorter pieces, so your flavor profile might be slightly different. You can see, cut up a little bit there, and then you just take it and break it up really nicely. It's really easy to do. Yeah, and that's kind of my process. So comes in these nice chunks here, or this nice little block. The lighting is not great, so it's I know it's going to be a little difficult to see. It's not as dark as it looks on camera. It's quite light, quite nice, and it's a good blend. All right, let's get to smoking. Okay, so if you've seen that, you've seen the way I use it. I use a cigar cutter. I find that it helps. It's just a quicker process, honestly, than trying to slice it with a knife. Now, however, if you have a very sharp knife, it makes quick work of pressed tobacco. By all means, do that. I think that's actually a better way. You'll get longer flakes. You might even have a little bit different flavor profile, just the way that those flakes might burn over time. But for me, it's quick, it's simple, it's easy preparation. And honestly, that's probably, when I go back and I look at plug tobaccos and how they're reviewed, the biggest thing that I see from most people is the frustration with having to prepare it. That they're not used to it, they don't like it, they want to be able to take it right out and use it. And I think if you use a cigar cutter, it's still not easy, but it's pretty straightforward. You take 3 or 4 little clips off of that, and you're good to go. You can rub some out, throw it in a pipe, and you're ready. So it is, like I said, it's an English blend. We've gone under the components. It is very much on the nose itself. It's a very dark flavor, 10 note wise, so very rich in Latakia. A lot of Kia in this one. I'm not sure I would call it a bomb, but it's predominantly Latakia with some Orientals and Virginia's tobacco in there. Tonight, or not tonight, this afternoon, I'm smoking it out of this Peterson. I believe it's a Kinsale. Yep, or Kinsale. I don't know. I'm not Irish. XL12. It's a beautiful little kind of umpal pipe. Well, let's light it up, or let's see if I can light it up, and I'll give you some of my thoughts on it. So let's get this out of the way. Let's compare it to probably one of Mr. Pease's most famous other plug tobaccos that is English, and that is Quiet Nights. Now, I don't have Quiet Nights in front of me, nor have I smoked Quiet Nights a little bit of time, so these are my memories, and having not gone back and watched a video of Quiet Nights. I find this blend to be much more leather earth, those darker flavor tones, less sweetness, more on the savory side than Gaslight. There's a little bit of sweetness and tang with Gaslight that I remember from it being. There's a lot of Kia, there's some Orientals, and it's got a similar 10 note that there's some kind of underlying sweetness, and so there are a lot of similarities. I mean, you're still dealing with a lot of Kia blend that's been blended by Cornell and Deal. It's pressed. Sorry, neighborhood kids on four-wheelers. You're dealing with a lot of similarities with the two blends, and that you've got, they're pressed, they're made by Cornell and Deal, probably very similar component leaves. I don't know if they're prepared the same. But I find this a lot earthier than Gaslight. There are some light Virginias in here. I don't know if the ratio of Orientals is higher. There is a little bit of spice here that I would attribute from the Orientals. Yeah, I can see that incense aroma it talks about. And what I love about, I think, Pease's English blends and Cornell and Dill's English blends is that there is a underlying sweetness in it. But there's a ton of complexity. So one of the things I will say that, just in my opinion, is I don't think spark plug changes too much throughout the bowl. What you get in the beginning is that wonderful Latakia. With that incense floral component of the Orientals. With a touch of sweetness from the Virginias. And that really remains throughout the bowl. But what I remember from Gaslight is that changing throughout the bowl. That Latakia is there, but the sweetness of the Virginias, I think, really mixed with the Latakia really plays prominent in that first part of the bowl on Gaslight, and then it kind of goes under a morph and becomes really complex and really moves into kind of like a savory zone, real savory, like pot roast savory. Well, I feel like this starts, and again, this is all in my memories of Gaslight. Well, I feel like this starts a bit more earthy. It kind of stays there and is there for quite a while. It's a good blend, like I said, primarily Latakia Oriental, touch of sweetness, a little bit of spice, and maybe some nuttiness, but not much. Well, guys, it's been Earl. It's been a pleasure to share this pipe bowl with you. GLP's Spark Plug, a new English blend from the Pease Meister. It's an excellent blend. Something new if you want to try plugs. With that, guys, y'all be good. Talk to you later.